Ojas Singh Banat is a politics and data science student at the London School of Economics, where he's also the founder of the LSE Students' Union Humanist Open Minds group. His role involves leading a platform and promoting humanist values within the university community, focusing on open dialogue and inclusivity. Ojas, thank you so much for joining us on Humanism Now.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure's all ours. So I think you're the first student representative that we've had featured on the podcast. So firstly, thank you for everything you've done. Would love to hear more about the group that you've created. So I guess to introduce to our listeners, could you give us a brief introduction to yourself and why you chose to set up the LSE SU Humanist Open Minds group? What was the motivation behind establishing this student group?
So, as you already mentioned, I'm a student of politics and data science, now in my second year at LSE. And Humanist Open Minds, as it says on the website, is a community dedicated to humanism and free thought, and the appreciation of human potential and reason. The aim is not just to bring together the non-religious, but also to engage in dialogue with religion and promote an exchange of ideas. As for my motivation, I have been non-religious for quite a while, and before I came to LSE, I saw that there are societies representing all the major faiths around the world, but there is no atheist or humanist presence. So I had this in mind even before beginning my studies, that I want to go there and start some sort of humanist society. And I went through with this in April 2023.
Congratulations. And I know you've also built a very strong team around you that is running and taking the group forward. So did you face any initial challenges in setting up Humanist Open Minds, and how did you and your team address those?
So at the initial stage, the challenge was to first find people for the core committee to run society, which I did. I put together this really good, beautiful team we have here. And then, according to the student union's rules, we have to collect 20 people's signatures who are interested in the society to set it up. So I did find some like-minded people, including many friends of mine. Afterwards, the challenge was more to get the word out and promote the society, to let people know that we exist and we're out there. So we have been doing this using social media and word of mouth, as well as we've got some help from the Students' Union. They're very helpful. They promote societies in their events as well.
And I wonder, when you were collecting those signatures, did you find that most students had a accurate understanding of humanism, or was there some misconceptions that you had to deal with in explaining what this group would be about and what you would aim to achieve?
Well, from my experience, I found that people did have some reservations. They hesitated to even put their signatures down for even express their interest in a group which is non-religious. But then, as I discussed with them what humanism is about, they became more comfortable with the idea, and I feel that helped a lot for people to understand what humanism is actually.
Yeah, I think that's a very common theme, that individuals can be quite concerned by labels. You know, rightfully, I think it's good to be apprehensive of labels straight away. But once you do engage and we're able to explain what humanism is about and what the core tenets are, the main belief system, most people kind of realize that that's something that they would be happy to affiliate with. But yes, congratulations on working through that to get the group up and running. So could you talk us through some of the key activities and the main initiatives that you've undertaken to promote humanism, both through the Open Minds group and more broadly at LSE?
So at our society, our signature event is Dialogue Over Donuts. So these are regular informal discussions on topics relating to religion. And we invite people from many faiths to come. A lot of people do come, bring their unique and different perspectives. And we have very interesting conversations between religion and non-religion. We also collaborate with other societies and organizations, sometimes even put on social events that are just pure fun. We want to make it inclusive for everybody to join regardless of their faiths. I personally, beyond the society, engage in a lot of other events and with other religious societies. I've had a lot of beautiful discussions with the Christian Society, for instance, at our university.
Yeah, I think that engagement, interfaith involvement and engagement is crucial as well for, again, the explanation and the broad acceptance of the term. So congratulations and well done for your efforts in building the awareness and acknowledgement of humanism on campus. So with everything that you've achieved with the LSE SU group, what advice would you give to fellow students or perhaps future students who might be considering starting a similar humanist group at their university or on campus?
For any students looking to start a humanist society or a similar group at their university, first of all, I would really want to encourage and support you. It's a really great idea. Do go for it. And I have 3 suggestions to keep in mind. The first would be to present the group as inclusive and welcoming of all. Even something as small as calling the group an atheist society versus a humanist, open minds kind of group changes the appeal a lot. Because as we were discussing, people are hesitant to identify with labels associated with strong non-religion. But humanist is something people can actually relate to. The second point would be to engage with other faith societies, and if there is a faith center at university, do definitely reach out to them, collaborate with them. At LSE, they have been really, really helpful, and there is a lot of scope for joint events as well. The third thing is do not get into any controversy or offend anybody unnecessarily. Such an incident has happened at LSE in the past, and it gets you nowhere, it damages the reputation of the group, and it doesn't really help at any point. There's no point doing such a thing.
Was that an external speaker when there was a more of an offence or controversy caused?
Well, I think back in 2013, and it was the previous Atheist and Humanist Society at LSE, ASH, and it was something to do with the Welcome Fair.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've had a lot of talks recently and guests on the podcast discussing dialogue, and politeness and respect goes a long way if you want to change someone's mind. And I think one of the key things, first of all, is building rapport and setting boundaries and respectful dialogue. So yes, I really do appreciate your approach. And you mentioned, of course, that if anybody would like to start a similar group, then you would be happy to help. How can anyone, or what is the best way to get in touch with you if somebody would like to ask any questions or request some support?
Well, I would be happy to help anybody who's considering a similar group. So the best way to reach out would probably be by email, and then I'll be happy to meet in person as well later on.
Fantastic. And we'll share some links to Ojas's socials in the show notes if you would like to follow up and contact him. So I'm interested to take a little bit of a step back. You mentioned you're a student of politics and data science. That's quite an interesting mix, but probably one that's becoming more and more important in society, particularly with the rise of data and AI in more and more, not just in the creative, but in decision-making in business processes. And I imagine it's being incorporated into politics as well. I'd be interested to get your views on the rise of AI, or particularly your studies in data science, and how that can be used as a positive for humanism. And I guess similarly, where do you see the potential risks to humanist values?
Well, at our degree, we have been studying a lot of courses around ethics and political impacts, societal impacts of AI. And I feel that, well, personally, I find the concern a bit overblown, because AI also provides us with, or might in the future provide us with the potential to advance human values, to create a better world for everybody, which is what humanism also strives for. And mindful of the concerns that are around AI, I feel that we should definitely treat this as a good opportunity to advance stuff that humanism believes in and create a better world for all.
Yeah, I see this topic of data ethics becoming one of the key areas of research going forward. It must be fascinating to be studying it, particularly at this time. Is there any resources or areas you would point to if anybody wanted to get a really good, thorough understanding of data ethics? Anything you would recommend?
Well, one of my favorites is the Oxford Handbook of Digital Ethics. It has a wide range of chapters covering all facets of not just AI and data, but all digital technology in general. And I find it a really interesting book to read in my spare time. It's a great resource to go to for this.
Fantastic. We will certainly link to that as well. So, with all that going on, how do you balance your academic responsibilities with running a student group like Humanist Open Minds? I was involved in a couple of student groups many years ago, and it's very time consuming. So to be a founder and to champion it, as well as doing such a intensive course, how do you find balancing those two responsibilities?
Well, I find that so far I have been able to balance them quite well, and I'm getting decently good grades as well. So it depends on how much effort you invest into what you're doing, and ultimately comes down to good time management, which is something that every student learns at some point, but I feel I have been quite good at it as well right now. So it's going quite well with both. I'm able to balance them quite well.
Excellent. And remind me, how many years off graduation are you at the moment?
I'm in my second year, so I will graduate next year in July.
Fantastic. So I guess you'll be looking for new joiners to join the committee and take on the running of the group going forward.
For sure.
And with that, and reflecting on your time both at LSE and with Humanist Open Minds, what impact do you feel the group has had on the community? And what would you like to see from the next generation of leaders to take the group forward?
Well, if I look back, we have managed to successfully revive the humanist presence at LSE after a gap of almost 8 years. So we've created a representation for humanism and non-religion, and even the religious people and religious societies are becoming aware of humanism, which also increases the mutual respect we were talking about earlier. And going forward for the next future leaders of the society, what I would want to see is a more broad reach, because we have found that a very, very large number of young people are non-religious, but they also quite hesitate to identify with that label and everything. So to broaden the scope and membership of the society, make it bigger, that's what I would want to see in the future.
Yeah, you touch on such an important point, and I think this is also a key issue for lots of local groups, which we work out with Central London Humanists, and there's a great network of local groups across the UK, and I think a common challenge is how do we engage more younger people, because certainly we see that correlation that the younger generations are less likely to identify with a religious group or religious identity. But they're not. They're not. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to join us in championing humanist causes or join humanist groups. So, what suggestions or recommendations would you have for any local group like ours, or any of our? We have an international listenership here, for how we can engage more young people and help them to feel comfortable identifying with the humanist label, given that they probably already share the values that we have?
Well, I think the single most important thing would be for people to actually be aware of what humanism is about. It's not just about rejecting religion or being non-religious. There are other values. It's about human goodness, appreciating reason, potential, all of these things. And I find that people have initial reservations about humanism when I talk to them about it. But when I explain to them what humanism actually is about, a lot of people find themselves relating to it even more and more, including many religious people as well. So what I feel the most important thing is for people to know what humanism is about, to spread that awareness first. And once that has happened, I feel people will engage more with humanist causes and groups.
And I imagine those campus engagements, particularly Freshers' Weeks and just engaging people in conversation and dialogue is a great way to do that. So again, thank you for everything you've done, and really looking forward to see what comes of Humanist Open Minds and for your own career post university. So reflecting on your time, I guess looking ahead more, what are your plans post graduation? And do you intend to continue your community engagement work and community building?
Well, looking beyond university, I do want to stay engaged with the cause of humanism, and so I do intend to get involved in local groups, depending on where in the world I am at that point. And I'm also penning down some of my ideas on humanism and religion, maybe for some blog posts or some longer text. Let's see what comes out of that.
Fantastic. Well, do share those with us when that gets launched, and we do wish you the best with your future endeavours, whatever you choose to do post university. And again, congratulations on creating Humanist Open Minds. Finally, our standard question for all of our guests here: what's something that you've changed your mind on recently?
Well, I have come to appreciate many things recently that I did not earlier. Mushy peas, for instance. But more for the topic at hand.
Did you visit the north?
Mm-hmm. I did. But more for the topic at hand, I appreciate the need to engage with religion and understand what and why people believe, rather than just dismiss it or discount it. For the past year, I was avoiding all of the faith societies and the faith center at university because I thought this is not for me. But now I am myself getting involved. I'm reading religious scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Bible. And even if I disagree, it allows me to make a principled and well-grounded point, and also to be correct and pay due respect to people's beliefs.
I think that's so important. And has it changed? I guess when you mentioned having a deeper understanding for why people believe, could you draw that out for us a little? What do you think you've realized through both studying the scriptures, but also engaging people in dialogue? What would you see as more of a deeper understanding of why people do believe in any given religion?
Well, I see for a lot of people, religion is not just about the rituals or the scriptures. It's about a lived experience. And it is that lived experience which I seek to understand by engaging with religion as well. Because, while I try to stay out of it, I can only have an outsider's perspective. But I feel only when you truly understand the other side can you make your own point well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and engaging and developing that deeper understanding is only going to help strengthen our reason and our cause as well. So Ojas Singh Banat, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Congratulations with the Humanist Open Minds, and all the best of luck for the remainder of your studies and whatever you choose to do next.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and we hope to see you at either one of our events, either your events or one of our events very soon. But for now, thank you for joining us on Humanism Now.